Okay, so welcome to Kids Baking class number 7. We're going to be talking today about different types of pastries. So we've started this already. We're going to be making an almond puff loaf. So what we have here already is what we learned in a previous class. This is pie crust. Just a little bit like rectangles, very rustic. We didn't roll it out. We just used our fingers to press it down. This was basically a cup of flour, a stick of butter, and a 1/4 cup of water. So that was the first kind of layer of pastry that we're going to put down on this. So this part's ready to go. The next layer is going to be 1 cup of water. We're going to heat that up in the saucepan so you can pour that in. Lincoln, if you could unwrap the butter and add that to the saucepan as well. We're going to heat this up until it's boiling and the butter is melted on the stove top. Add a cup of flour all at once. And then we're going to whisk in eggs one at a time. So far we haven't even added any sugar to our doughs. The sugar, the sweetness is going to come from adding the preserves on top and a little bit of icing. If you are interested in croissants or other types of pastries like Danish dough, check out some of our other videos on Awkward Cooking Mom. So I'm going to take this over to the stove. We are going to let that boil and then we will be right back. Our water and butter came to a boil. So now we're going to add the flour all at once. Do it carefully though so it doesn't splash. So you want to get your hand nice and low before you turn it out. Okay, and then we're going to stir this in until it starts to thicken up and pull away from the sides of the pan. I'll hold this if you guys want to stir for a little bit. You can take turns. Okay, and you're right, there's no more water. The flour is absorbing up all the water and butter. So we're going to stir it until it's kind of smooth. Alternately, you could put this into a mixing bowl and just turn on the mixer for about 30 seconds and that would whip it up quite nicely. Okay, Lincoln, you want to turn? Hold it out here. It's going to be hot too close there, but if you would hold it over here. Okay. All right. I'm going to give it one last stir and then we're going to whisk the eggs in one at a time. So once we switch to the eggs, I'm going to switch to whisking them in. So because we have a hot pan, you want to be careful not to put the egg right onto the pan. So go ahead and put it on the dough there. We're going to whisk them in one at a time. Nope, one at a time. Put it in. Oh wow. Carefully, not to get any shells. Okay, and so I'm going to whisk this in. And then Lincoln, you ready to put the next egg in? Okay, go ahead. Put it on the dough there in the middle if you can. All right, looks good. It's okay. So you can pour it out through there. Nicely done. So I'm going to whisk in the second one here. All right, you ready for the third one? You want to make sure that each one is whisked in nicely before you add the next one. Okay, and we're starting to get a nice thicky dough here. Ready? Go ahead and put it in. All right. That's one way to do it. Okay. All right, and we didn't even get any shells in there, you guys. You could also crack it into a bowl first and then pour it in just to make sure that no shells get in. So I'm going to whisk this in again. This could be done by a mixer instead, but I didn't want to get something different. We've got to clean up on aisle 12 again this week. So the next thing we're going to do with this, now that we have a nice smooth dough, is we are going to divide it evenly on top of our 2 pie crusts. And then we're going to put it in the oven and bake it at 350 for about 55 minutes. Now I'm going to switch to a spatula. And if you guys have wet fingers that haven't touched the trash, just wait on that just a minute. Go get your hands wet, and then I'm going to have you guys smooth this out, okay?
I got my hands wet.
Okay, so what you really want for this is wet fingers so that your fingers don't stick to the dough. And that helps kind of smooth it out a little bit. So when I'm transferring it to my baking sheet, I want to try to put about half on each. So I'm going to put about half out. Whoa! And then you guys are gonna spread it out with your nice wet fingers. We want it to go kind of thin, but you want it to cover the bottom crust completely. Hold on, move your hands. And if your fingers start to stick, get them a little bit wet again. So we're just gonna smooth it out with our wet fingers. And so your fingers weren't quite wet enough. So if your fingers are nice and wet, they won't stick. Here, I think I can spread this one with a spatula. And again, it's okay if it's nice and rustic. All right, that looks good. So I'm gonna spread this one a little bit. Basically what you want is you wanna make sure that it's not touching, but that your bottom crust is completely covered, okay? And this is kind of a fun, rustic dessert anyways, because we'll add all kinds of wonderful things on top of here. All right, so this is gonna go into the oven for 55 minutes, almost an hour, and then we will be back. Okay, so our almond puff loaf has puffed in the oven, and so we're going to spread it with some peach jam. I'm gonna do this first one here, and then Ava's gonna get started on the next one. So you're just gonna spread a little bit on, and if you'd like to do this one. While she's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some almonds on. So we'll have a little bit of almonds on top, and then the best part, this is a little bit of powdered sugar, a little bit of milk, and a little bit of vanilla. So it's a half a cup of powdered sugar and about a tablespoon of milk. And then we're just going to drizzle that on to make the icing. Whoop. And then you're going to go back the other direction a little bit. Whoop. And then we're going to put that on a cutting board, and we're just going to cut it into strips and serve it while it's warm. And that's it.